We all know and love Mexican food, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a country on this planet that is devoid of a Mexican restaurant. In fact, tacos, quesadillas, and fajitas are now firmly implanted into almost every language in the world. But how are these typical Mexican dishes really made here in Mexico? Are quesadillas actually made differently here? Are fajitas? So in this video, as soon as I check out these awesome Mayan ruins, we're gonna travel from one end of the Yucatan to the other to see how they make typical Mexican food here in Mexico. I'm Dave Kaufman, and this is Dave Kaufman Eats the World. So to really dive into Mexico's unique and delicious cuisine, you've got to go off those beaten paths, come to a little village. I don't know where we are, we're in a village, but you got to go to a place like this. A little corner shop, no different than any other corner shop in any other little town in Mexico. But here, they hand make quesadillas and tacos from scratch. So in a place like this, that fine line between taco and quesadilla is actually kind of blurred. So this is what they call a quesadilla. It's loaded with that white cheese, fried onions, a lot of strips of really juicy looking meat, and it is piping hot, fresh off that grill just over there. You know, one of the most incredible things about coming to Mexico to a little place like this, totally obscure, right on the street corner, it's the ambiance here. It's the people walking around, it's the traffic, it's the street dogs walking around. It's the ambiance that makes the experience so incredible. This is the essence of Mexican food. So with that being said, I'm digging into this quesadilla. Oh yeah, just the meat and the cheese and those fried onions, just those alone, give this such a rich and delicious taste. It's not too over spicy, but the marinade that they use on this carne, on this meat, has just the right amount of spice to it, and then you get a bite of one of those onions and it just puts those spices into overdrive. And you get that nice soft white Mexican cheese that just kind of cools it all off and makes for one flavorful street taco or quesadilla. I'm going in for another bite. That is just delicious. You know, where we are right now is we're in a little town right in between Cancun and Puerto Morelos. Cancun is right over there, Puerto Morelos down that way. But you can go to any of those restaurants in any of those tourist towns and not have a taco or a quesadilla as good as you will find on a street corner. So I can't encourage you enough to leave those touristy, expensive areas. Come into a small town like this and go exploring and find a little, essentially, mom and pop place, or as the case is here, mom and two daughters place. You will find the most authentically delicious Mexican food anywhere in this country, in a place just like this. All right, so you got the vegetarian one.
Mushrooms, onions, corn, zucchini. Very tasty. I'm happy there's lots of legumes in there.
Legumes. Those are like peanuts. And Steve,
I destroyed mine. It's gone.
You took 3 bites and yours was gone.
It was as big as your quesadilla.
Yeah, that's right. You got the chicken.
Yeah, it was the meat was so tender, spicy, and then I added a combination of these awesome spices, and my mouth is still warm. And with the heat and the humidity, I'm a little wet.
Gotcha.
Good, very delicious.
Gotcha. Can I take this opportunity to compliment you on your hat?
Thank you.
Yes.
I just got it yesterday.
That's right. So our next stop here in Mexico is right here in downtown Cancun. This is Market 23. It's kind of a local market that a lot of tourists come to, but there are a lot of really awesome little restaurants and a lot of different foods that we can try here. And in here, we have the meat section. Run, dog, run, 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 puppy. So here in this market, you will find all sorts of amazing food stands, like fruit stands over here and restaurants over here. And each one of these restaurants, they're all connected, but they're all different restaurants. So when I'm on my hunt for the most authentic Mexican cuisine we can find in this market, it's basically a crapshoot. It's either there or over there, or right here. So today I am joined by Emily, and Steve, and Kenzie, and Amanda. And you and I are going to be splitting the Bistek de la Pequeño.
Sí.
La pequeña. La pequeña.
Sí, señor.
All right, so our first dish is here, and this looks absolutely amazing and very authentically Mexican. So Emily and I will be splitting the Bistek a la Tempequeña, which is beef steak, Tempequeña style, served with mole, enchilada, guacamole, beans, rice, salad, and fried bananas. All for 180 pesos, which is just over $10 US. All right, so we are just gonna dig in. We're gonna try out this meat first. All right, we're going in. You ready? Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
That's a nice sauce.
Mm-hmm. Hiding underneath these delicious looking fried plantains, there is the beef. You ready?
Yes.
Ting!
Cheers.
We're trying it out. I don't know what it is with Mexico, but every time I get Bistek in Mexico, there is such a unique and delicious flavor to this meat. I don't know, spices that they use with it, but it's not really spicy. There's really no detectable mystery spice to it. It's just a really good, solid piece of beef. So next, I'm just gonna try the rice and beans by themselves and give it a try. You know what these remind me of? What do they remind you of?
I'm not sure.
They remind me of eating rice and beans.
Like they taste very refined beans to me, but I know.
They taste refined?
Refried.
Refried. And refined. All right, now that we've tried a sampling of all the goodies on this plate, it's now time for my favorite Latin American accompaniment to any meal. Fried plantains. Now, I'm sure here in Mexico, they have manners just like anywhere else in the world, and I'm sure that you shouldn't really just shovel food into your mouth like an animal, but that's exactly what I'm gonna do with these plantains. If you've never had fried plantains before, these are so flavorful, a burst of flavor with every bite. The outside is caramelized when they fry these. They don't really fry them. They put them in a pan and they just caramelize them in the pan, right, exactly. And then you know what they do with them after they caramelize them? They refine them. But they are super soft and bready in the middle. You really get the feeling that you are eating in a Latin American country when you bite into a fried plantain. Have you tried your plantains yet?
Yeah.
What was funny about that?
I stabbed you with my fork back.
Did you? I didn't even notice.
I'm so sorry.
Well, and earlier you cut me with a knife. So here on the other side of the Yucatan Peninsula, in a little town called Telchac. This is right on the Gulf of Mexico, and as you can see, this is a seafood town. There is a seafood restaurant over there, there's a seafood restaurant over there, and naturally, because this is a town full of seafood restaurants, I'm gonna go check out this place, Los Tiburones, which means the sharks, and I'm gonna see how they do steak fajitas here in Mexico. So check this out, we've got really lean steak, we've got orange, green, and orange peppers. We've got nice big chunks of onion, a couple of tortillas, and some refried beans. All right, interesting presentation, not what I expected from fajitas. Where is the sizzling plate? All right, we are gonna start with some of these refried beans. We're gonna slap it on there, and then we're gonna put a big piece of that guacamole on here, and then over here, we're gonna load it up with all of these fixings. I want a lot of peppers in there, a lot of onions, and of course I want a lot of meat. We're just gonna shovel it all in there. All right, now that I've made my fajita, unsizzled fajita, let's take a bite and try this out. I'll tell you what makes this. It's those fresh refried beans and that guacamole. But the meat, super tender. Those peppers are grilled to perfection. They really give this an interesting bite. I will say that I am a little surprised that this doesn't come out on a sizzling plate. We've had fajitas all over America, Canada, Europe, wherever. Always comes out on a sizzling plate. Here, no sizzling plate. So Pedro, have you ever seen a restaurant in Mexico serve fajitas on a hot plate and all the meats and things sizzle?
No.
Never?
Never.
That is not a Mexican thing.
It's a Taco Bell. I'm sorry, I can't say Mark's. No, just kidding.
Well, Taco Bell doesn't even do that. I don't even think Taco Bell has
Applebee's
fajitas.
does.
See? Right?
Applebee's does.
Applebee's does.
But that's so
Like
Canadian.
Don Pablo's does. All right, we have learned something here today. This is actually a true Mexican fajita. No sizzling plate. I feel a little kind of ignorant now that I thought that all fajitas everywhere in the world were served on a sizzling plate. I'm a little embarrassed. So what do you do when you're embarrassed? You just stuff your face and take another bite. I'll tell you, the taste of this fajita, really reducing my embarrassment right now.
So on this trip across the Yucatan, we've seen how quesadillas are made much more authentically than those we may expect outside of Mexico. And we've learned that nobody else in the world can get Bistek quite as good as they do here. And, big shocker, fajitas are never served on a sizzling cast iron skillet here. Yes, Mexican restaurants around the world try to get it right, but not one of them actually comes close to how good the food actually is here in Mexico. And it's a pretty safe bet that I'll be coming back here again and again, if nothing else than for a foodie experience you just can't find anywhere else.
So guys, if you're hungry for more, there's a video to check out right there. If you're starving for more, there's a playlist to check out right there. So now that I'm stuffed, I'm gonna go back and check out these ruins. How cool is this?